We are privileged to have Coach Mike Krzyzewski with us here today. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. I've known you a while now. I was on your staff. I'm married to your daughter, although don't tell her I put them in that order.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about how long you've been doing this, I've always wanted to ask you. You started as a head coach at Army in 1976. You started here at Duke in 1981, and you're in your 34th year. If you could go back to Mike Krzyzewski, 1976 at West Point, with what you know now, what would you tell that young coach?
I wouldn't change too much, because I think you have to go through a lot in order to get to the position that I'm at. In other words, I think it was really good that I was at Army. And one, I loved Army. That's my alma mater. And they had only won 7 games in 2 years, so anything I would have done there would have been better. But then you had to do everything, you know, press, paint bleachers. It was yours, you know. And I think by being poor early and in building a program that helped, I probably would have told me to be myself more instead of trying to be other people. I think as a young coach, you sometimes are, whether it be trying to be like Coach Knight or Coach Iba or Coach Newell. In fact, after a couple of years, Coach Newell and Coach Iba both told me, so why don't concentrate on being any of us, just be you. But I think that's the advice I would give me, but I'm glad I went through all that.
Yeah. You do it this long, there's got to be some things you like about what you're doing. What's the best part of being a coach?
The fact that, one, I love the game. The game has been my friend since I was a kid, and the game has never let me down. Sometimes I've let the game down, you know, by not doing my best, but the game is never, it's always there for me. It's always pure. And when I say that, I think then the relationships that you have with teams, not every team, you know, you don't have you don't have a deep-rooted relationship with every team or every player. But I've had them with enough, in fact, more than most. And I love that about it. And I love each year being a new journey, even though people in sport are always cumulative. It's what you've done in total and what you do on Tuesdays and, you know, what you did against this guy and what you did and now what you're going to do. I like to get into the moment with the group I'm in and see where that goes. And I think that's kept me fresh instead of, you know, building on something, you know, keep trying to do it for other reasons. Good things happen, I think, if you stay in the moment and you stay in the moment with your players.
What's the toughest part of being a coach?
I think the time away from your family. And yeah, I like recruiting, but recruiting takes so much time. And you have to have a very tolerant, understanding family, especially a tolerant and understanding mate, you know, in order to, I think, keep balance in this profession. And again, in recruiting, when you spend time babysitting, or somebody is leading you along and they waste your time, those type of things. And we try to make decisions so that won't happen. But again, I love a lot of the recruiting because, one, that's your lifeblood. There's no good head coach in any sport that doesn't have good players.
Right.
You know, anyone who says, oh, I made those, no,
you need talent.
You need talent. Now, not everybody can be successful with talent, but you need talent, and therefore recruiting is what you have to do. But it's time, the time away from your family.
Do the attention that a Jabari has gotten, or over the last few years, Austin Rivers,
Right.
Kyrie Irving, is that a distraction?
Well, it can be. There's no question about it. I think it has to do with the youngster and his teammates. You know, I think in Kyrie's, first of all, he got hurt. But he had, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, I think it would have been Player of the Year in college basketball. And he had two established stars with him in Nolan Smith and Kyle Singler. Their egos, their identities would not be affected. I think Austin came into a young team that had fragile egos, and we had a tougher time with that. Jabari comes into a team that is so acceptant of who he is, especially the next best player in Rodney Hood. You know, and so I think it just matters, Chris, about like the personalities of the team and the maturity level at that point, not just in playing maturity, just maturity of how they can handle, you know, a guy of that magnitude. And then to say something about, like in Jabari's case, Jabari's a good guy. You know, the guys really want Jabari to be good. And Jabari doesn't like all the attention. You know, even though he gets it, he doesn't like it. And the guys know that.
Okay.
They know that he's not this heat-seeking missile, you know, trying to get every interview and all that kind of stuff. So we have actually a pretty good thing going on our team.